Okay, so if you don't live under a rock, you know a lot of things went down this past week with Robinhood and stock, specifically GameStop, and then that trickled over to quite a few other stocks that were available on the platform. Point being, this reminds me so much of 2007, 2008, Michael Burry, honestly, shorting mortgage-backed securities. Who remembers that, right? If you've watched The Big Short, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's a really easy way to understand what occurred during the housing crash and the fact that rating agencies were pretty much playing everybody for fools. And even then, those who chose to short took on some risk. And we're going to talk about that because there are two very important things to remember in money. You need to have a plan and you need to plan ahead for risk. And it feels like no one did that. Well, the people that had money didn't do that. And the little guys are still kind of winning. I want you guys to keep holding out.
I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were young. I'll take a hit and still finish and one.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl TJ back with another video. Talks with TJ, aka TJ Two Shoes Chains. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. When you're reviewing this, if you're brand new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share, comment down below, engage. I would love all of that. And then Two Shoes Crew, what's going on? So I'm actually filming this. It feels like it's super late, but it's not. But yes, a lot of things have been going on with Robinhood now, to the point where some people feel that they're seeing the full scope of corruption when it comes to a major hedge fund being able to use their pull and their weight to stop the bleeding that is occurring with them based on the short position they took. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can just read or just, I feel like if you're on Instagram or social media, you know, because Robinhood has been big, right? People are dabbling in stocks, and whether you have a little money to play with or a lot, first off, there's always a risk involved. You just need to understand that, right? Whenever you are in a market of any sort, you're dealing with speculation. So things can go up, things can go down. Absolutely nothing is for certain other than the fact that we have to pay taxes and die. So things will go up, things will go down, but if you choose to play on that speculation a little bit more, you can win really big or you can lose really big, and that's exactly what this hedge fund did. So if you are choosing to short something or take a short position, you are really planning on the continuous demise of the valuation of that company. That's really what it means, right? Because shorting something means you're selling it before you even have it. Like, you don't actually own the stock that you're short, like you're selling. That's what it means. You don't hold position in it. And I think it was really interesting. I don't remember if it was Elon Musk or not, but he's like, you can't sell homes that you don't own or cars that you don't own, things like that. But, you know, we can go ahead and sell stock that we don't actually own. And I've never thought about that because in personal finance, like in different courses and investments, we had to go through these exercises and this homework and all these tests for this, and you don't even think about it because it's just become a natural order of finance in the world we live in. But yeah, you can short sell. So if you're choosing to take a short position, you expect the valuation of that stock to continue to drop. So the worse it does, the better off you are. Because let's just say you are short selling. There are a lot of examples, but if you're short selling at, it's at $10 right now per share, you're hoping that it continues to drop. Let's say it drops down to $1. Okay, you have to cover that $10, but you're able to buy back at only, let's say, $1 if it were to drop down that low. So that between that difference between $10 and $1 a share, that's where your profit margin is. And that's what these hedge fund companies were hoping to do. Here's the problem with the short position. If that stock doesn't drop and it shoots back up far past what you decided to short sell at, you're infinitely screwed because there is no cap really of how high it can go. And that's what this company is dealing with right now. So the people caught on like, wait a minute. This is a game you all want to play? And it was like somebody said, hold my beer, watch this. And they got everybody to join in. And so right now, if you're holding a position, right, and you were able to purchase GameStop, even Nokia. I know that there was a cryptocurrency that was involved. Listen, if you're AMC, listen, I legit tried to purchase AMC and they canceled my order twice on the market for Robinhood. So just to let you know, it's a real thing that they are trying to put a stop to the bleeding for some of these companies, which You're not supposed to be able to do that, right? Like if we're saying capitalism and the strongest survive, why aren't we just letting them survive? You know why? Because we don't do that. Think about it, 2007, 2008, we didn't let AIG fail. We bailed them out. To the tune of over $1 billion, we bailed them out. And if you don't remember, if you watch that movie, so Steve Carell's character in there, he's extremely cynical. He hates when the little guy is played by the bigger corporation because the bigger corporations are always bailed out and then they somehow blame it on the little guy, right? Like that's what happens. And they know they'll get bailed out. So they continue to operate with impunity. They are reckless. They're selfish. And he had a short position, right? So they took out insurance against mortgage-backed securities, which that wasn't a thing you could actually do. Michael Burry helped create a market for that. And that's why he shocked so many of the investment firms when he went around and he was asking for this position. And so they were shorting the mortgage-backed securities. So which means they were betting against the housing market, right? So if you remember also Brad Pitt's character in there, he got really pissed off at Charlie and I forget Charlie's friend in there, but he got really pissed off at them when they were excited in the casino because they were able to purchase, I think like AAA, maybe some BB bonds on the actual housing market. And he was upset because he goes, you're literally betting against housing. So for you to win big, the housing market needs to tank. The housing market is only really going to tank if people lose jobs, and then people are for sure going to lose their homes. They are homeless. They don't know what's coming, for tomorrow. Like they are in a very terrible way, and they were excited about that. So you are winning at the expense of somebody else being at their lowest. Now that in itself is pretty dark, but it's kind of the world we live in, and it's certainly in the financial world. So this company didn't really plan for that risk. And so as the stock continues to go up, their losses will continue to grow infinitely. And they pretty much, got a bailout by Robinhood, who chose to pull it. Now, Robinhood wasn't the only platform to pull this, but how do I put this? It's disgusting, but I'm not shocked, right? Like you're disappointed, but you're not surprised, because who is surprised that somebody would bail out a bigger guy and, be upset that the little guy has found a way to win? And there were a lot of people that didn't understand, because if you are never dealing with short positions, right? And I don't deal in it myself anymore. I'm not in school, and I didn't choose to go like be an investment banker or be a personal finance individual. It just wasn't for me. But I saw people trying to put this in terms of like sneakers. They were like, hey, make this make sense in terms of sneaker content. And it was actually really, really good. I've seen some really good analogies for people where they are laying it out and they're like, all right, listen, sneakerheads, just imagine if shoes are being backdoored and you find out shoes are being backdoored to this massive reseller who is used to making a lot of money from this. And so instead you take yourself to that back door and you take all of your friends to that back door. And let's say the person that's supposed to be in charge of getting the pairs just to a specific individual, no, they're not looking. So you're getting all of these pairs funneled to your friends, and now all of you are in a great position. So, but the person that normally is winning big, that reseller, they're pissed off and they're mad and they want this to stop because they feel like they're just being bled dry. So they go to the individual at the store who is in charge of the back door and they're like, listen, you need to help me out. You need to stop this. So not only do they close the back door on all of you who went back there to get your pairs, they now have, they said, cemented that door. There is no door no more. There isn't a door. There is no door. Matter of fact, the building has now been relocated, so you can't even do anything. Because at some point, people were locked out of their accounts and they couldn't even do anything. So that was a really good way, I felt, for people to understand it, maybe in terms of like reselling and sneakers. If it didn't make sense, but. First off, I need to go watch The Big Short again because now this has just really got me excited. That's what I do for fun. I know, lame. But listen, have a plan with your money and understand when you're gambling. I mean, the market is kind of a gamble, right? So when you're doing that, I don't care if it's a little money or a lot of money, you could stand to lose it, right? So whatever position you're choosing to take, just know if there's risk involved, you could lose. And you could lose really big depending on the actions you've taken. So that hedge fund company is learning that you could lose really big and it doesn't feel good. Now, that was their choice, and I would hope, like, they have risk assessment specialists that are supposed to take care of this, okay? There are other movies you can watch that actually break down like what risk assessors were analyzing during the 2007-2008 crash as well. I'm trying to think of a movie where you guys could see that. It's not Too Big to Fail. Too Big to Fail gives you the government. It gives you the behind the scenes look for the government. I cannot think of it right now. If I do, I will edit it in so you guys can go watch it if you choose to watch it. But honestly, don't put yourself in a position where you can't stand to lose quite a bit, right? So don't be one of those people that dumps tons of money, let's say just into the market, but you can't afford to lose that position. Now, granted, if you don't ever pull the cash out, you haven't lost, right? Like a loss is when you pull the cash out, you're then going to actually recognize the loss. If it's just a loss on paper, you're actually still okay, because for the people that lost money in say 2007, 2008, when the market really tanked and they didn't touch it and they left it there, they recuperated, okay? They recouped pretty much most of what they lost and they were fine. And for those that didn't pull their money out now with COVID, I feel like we'll also be fine looking ahead. But don't put money into the market you truly can't afford to lose, because you can lose and at some point you will lose. It's just, will you recover? Will you allow the ebbs and flows to work for you? Have a plan, okay? Have a plan. Apparently their plan was just to go cry to Robinhood to stop the bleeding. That was their plan, not to hedge against the possible loss they would take from their short position with AMC and with AMC and GameStop. But people act irresponsibly and then they make it your business that it's now an emergency, right? Like your irresponsibility does not constitute an emergency on my part. I learned that very early on when I was younger and I've carried that with me. So don't you keep that in mind, right? For anybody that's holding the position, hold it and let them suffer. Like, again, going back to the movie, Steve Carell's character, like he was sitting, he had one of the largest short positions for those securities just waiting there, and everybody was trying to buy up insurance. Like everybody was trying to buy insurance to hedge against the housing market, and it was starting to plummet. I mean, if you saw Bear Stearns, they were going under, they were dropping and on the market, like they were plummeting in real time. And he said, I'm going to continue to hold. I want them to feel it. So right now, if you have the ability to sit there and hold it. Honestly, hold it. Every once in a while, somebody's got to get burned to learn what they've been doing to other people for so long. All right, that's how I feel. So how can you mitigate this in your own life? Listen, just have a plan, right? A plan is a budget. That's how you're able to do so many things. So we know without guilt, without concern, without stress, without worry. So have a budget. If you choose to budget money to invest for fun on the side, right? You can have fun investment money, but I think you also need to have like planned, responsible investment money, like your 401k or 403b is automatically funded. You're putting money into an IRA, a Roth IRA, maybe you have a health savings account. I mean, all of those things play a factor. And when those are taken care of, then go play around in the market and have at it. Have fun. Because if you lose that money, it shouldn't affect your well-being. You shouldn't be in a pissy mood. You shouldn't look like you lost your best friend and you're about to cry. That's what some of you were looking like on social media. That's just, I can't put myself in that position. Listen, I'm one of those people where it's really interesting to see and watch, but if you've seen the Personal Finance Club posts, you have the fun, the wild, wild west that's going on right now. And then you have the boring side where you put money into the S&P 500 index and you just let it do its thing and you'll be okay. This isn't really bothering you at all. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on that and just kind of explain, I guess, a little bit of what I at least know, just from background for what's happening, what a short position is. And it's the fact that you really are benefiting off someone else's demise. And that's not good karma in the first place. So I just think karma came back and did its thing. But I would love to know your thoughts on the situation. So just go ahead, comment down below. I know this is a very obscure video, different from most things. It's certainly not sneaker content, but when have I ever been known to just talk about sneaker? It's Talks with TJ, so I'm going to talk about whatever. Thanks for watching. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace out.